Hello, everyone. Welcome to ELI, the place where you get your daily dose of inspiration for entrepreneurship. And today we have with us Mr. Manjul Wadhwa, who is the founder and CEO of Anagram Media Labs, which is a full service integrated agency that aims at transforming businesses through the power of marketing. Hi, Manjul. Welcome to our show.
Happy and glad to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Manjul, I request you to introduce yourself to our audience and tell us a little bit about the company you have built.
So it's been 8 to 9 years since I've been an entrepreneur, and Anagram, like you have rightly said, so it's a full service 360-degree marketing agency. Uh, uh, so we are very tech focused. We started in pandemic, just a month into the pandemic. So prior to this, I had another media agency by the name of Nine Planets, which I started in the year 2017,
Mm-hmm.
and which I sold off to my other founders in 2020. So Anagram was started with the focus of providing, sustainable, profitable, and scalable marketing solution to our clients, right? And
Mm-hmm.
we realized that it can be and it has to be an integrated approach, but because of the impetus towards shift towards technology provided by the COVID, we always knew that technology has to be in the forefront, right? So we'll try to bring a lot of technological infrastructure and tech stack into integrating our campaigns, right?
Mm-hmm.
And recently also we have launched our AI-based creator marketplace called Inflyx, right? So which is
Okay.
aimed at data-driven influencer marketing, and so within that sphere, we'll be launching with other products as well, maybe in the future. But the focus is to uh, provide, this, like I said, sustainable and scalable, profitable, marketable solution, and we are just building towards that.
Got it. So, what kind of companies reach out to you? Is it like large enterprises or mid-market? Is there any industry which where you have a lot of clients in?
Yeah. So typically we get clients, who are startups, and I would say because certain we have, unicorn startup as well as our clients. So one of which is InDrive, so it's the world's second largest ride-hailing app. So we have been with them during the initial launch phases in India. So typically those kind of brands here that reach out to us who wants to establish India as their market. Because and then from our own startup ecosystems, we work with a lot of Series A, Series B funded startups as well, right? Most we have a lot of clients into the fintech sector vertical, right?
Mhm.
And then internet-based companies like I talked to you about. So those sectors we get a lot of clients, and then D2C, the third largest sector. So these are the top three sectors within which we get clients.
And in terms of services, what are the most as or top three services that you provide to each of these clients?
So interestingly, I believe that our sector, marketing as a whole, is cyclical in nature, or any business is cyclical in nature. And I believe that our marketing services change within 4 to 5 years. We have to evolve what we are, presenting as solution to the clients, because we have to shift according to the customers, right? So what used to work 5 years ago as agency service doesn't work right now, right? Uh, so, uh, so right now, within that aspect, back in the days, we used to sell a lot of TV ads, right? So now much of our ad spend goes to influencer marketing, right? So within that space, influencer marketing, and we are seeing an increase uptrend in OH advertising spend as well, right? And of course, we are also seeing a lot of investment into content IPs and properties with influencers and into OTT. So that's another rising area where we are seeing the spends. And of course, these are the rising trends, but 50% of our, Google, Facebook, and other programmatic spend that goes about. So that's the current mix that is going on. And yeah, so these are the
Got
broader. categories.
Uh, Speaking of influencer marketing, I think you have built a product around that and it has AI
Yeah.
component to it. So I know this product is not launched to the market yet, but still tell us a little bit about what is the product, what was the hypothesis behind it, and
Right.
what is the problem it is trying to solve.
Yeah. So, like I told you, our mission statement, right, was that we wanted, through the lens of marketing, provide, sustainable, profitable, and scalable solutions. So, what it necessarily meant was that we had to productize our services, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is basically a step towards that. I mean, it did not happen so that we did a research that okay we want to launch something in this space because we had been working with our clients and observing the creator economy for the past 4.5 5 years, right? So a couple of years ago we felt the need, right, that the shift is happening, and my hypothesis was that earlier we used to do media buying in TV channels across a list of channels, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people don't know in India as well because it's a fragmented language regional market. There used to be
Right.
thousands of channels, right? So if you have to do media planning, it used to be spread across those channels. So in my sense, these channels are now influencers, right? So I thought there has to be, uh, uh, you know, a regulated market for these, creators, right? So, and what's the logical step towards that? So the logical step towards that is building a marketplace and ecosystem. So the second problem that you encounter is there are approximately 2 crore creators that are there in India right now, right?
Wow.
So, and content creator as in, business class or as in, whole industry niche is going to stay. The forms and evolution will happen, but it is going to stay, right? So within that aspect, we wanted to have an earlier mover advantage. I believe that this industry will grow very well for the next 10 to 15 years. So
Mm-hmm.
what we now did was that we created a solution where we are utilizing more than 30 plus data touchpoints across millions of profiles. And we are basically training a lot of our own internal ML algorithms on transformers, right? And we are building basically intelligence set as to what is their content type, what is working for them, right? What sort of brand deals will work for them, audience segmentation, right? What is their fake follower count, etc. So that brands can do a proper media planning as to because apart from that, the third thing is also that this space will have to shift from branding exercise to performance marketing exercise. So we are seeing that shift trend as well, right? So and any performance marketing has to be data driven. So that was another
Right.
insight, right? So we went very heavy into building, data analysis and intelligence capacities, right? So, we are on using first-party database of these creators who are onboarding themselves onto their platform.
Mm-hmm.
And within that, we are building a creator community where we'll be showing insights on their profiles, helping them grow as well, and launching certain, programs for them as well, right? So, that's the whole product and ecosystem that we are trying to build, and the brands will be able to they will not have to scout for what are the trending profiles. So our AI model will train, okay, this industry niche will need these many communities or sets of cohorts of audiences. So it will automatically create cohorts of audiences that are best for a brand right
Mm-hmm.
now, right? And it will go and check which influencer as a category and their audience as a category matches these cohorts, and
Right.
show the list of influencers according to the requirements of the campaigns. Then let's suppose the budget type of deals, audience, geography, and location, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we after that, that is the discovery part and matchmaking algorithm basically. So after that, we have the complete campaign management solution into it as well. So from content approval, negotiation, bidding, and then complete financial transaction with wallet-based milestone features, complete transparency into pricing, right? So that's a little bit about what we are trying to do. In the
Got it. Got it. So basically, you are building a Upwork or say freelancer for influencer
Sort
marketing.
of, yes. One of the successful example has been Patreon in the West. So, which they have been working towards helping creator economy monetize. So they are focused more into help launching them their own courses, products, and building, separate streams of incomes as well apart from brand deals. But we are focused more on brand deals right now, and slowly also helping them nurture into other monetization streams.
Got it. So another follow-up question on that. So any marketplace, especially in the influencer marketing domain, so there are essentially two sides. One is the buyer, one is seller, and there is a marketplace in between.
Hmm.
So in your case, have you, I think you have onboarded some test clients in past. What are some of the success stories that you have seen, or any particular use cases that you have seen, which are gaining a lot of traction or getting good ROI out of it?
Yeah, so uh, you know, we are seeing a lot of new startup brands, right, that do not have that much budget and they want to work with good trending micro profiles as well, right? Who are those creators who are also, starting and they also want good paid collaborations, right? So that's a very interesting segment, and these creators quickly transcend into your macro creators or who have those potential, right? And these are very niche creators, right? So we are seeing a very positive trend into that segment of layer of creators. Now, within that, another trend is that of the regional creators, vernacular creators, right? So a lot of we see demand is coming from the uh, mm, you know uh, regional states like Gujarat, Kerala,
Mhm.
Karnataka, right? So reaching out to those audience and masses through influencer marketing. So I think that has been successful case study of our product till now in the beta phase, and we'll try to go double down on this insight
Got it.
into the future.
So you spoke about this term creator economy. I think this has been a buzzword for quite some time now. And like you mentioned initially, almost 2 crore Indians are now influencers. And when I see at some of the younger folks in my family also, they're also seeing becoming a creator as a viable career option come and they're aspiring to become a creator. I know many young people out there who are aspiring to become creators, and day in and day out they're consuming not TV content or not OTT content, but rather they're watching Instagram reels and so on. Having said that, what are some of the interesting facts that you have uh, understood about the this creator economy, and how is the media consumption or how is this industry changing? Uh, what is the new things that you have been seeing in the market?
So, very interesting facts that we are seeing is that the adoption curve of this trend habit that you are talking about, so it has transcended all generation and age groups, right?
Mhm.
So now we see our parents as well, our us as well, and the children as well. And there's a reason behind this, and the reason is the relatability factor, right? So that okay, this is the person that is having my worldview similar to me, and this is what he has become. So that aspirational connect, so that is working a lot, right? And into different spheres and different aspects. So within this trend, if you look at, uh, uh, across tier two and tier three cities as well, right? So a lot of creators are coming up from village life or tier four lives that are just putting out their natural content, and you would be amazed to see creators getting 40 million, 50 million organic,
Mm.
reach on such type of content. So now that how do you monetize that or do not do that, so that's a separate topic, right? But this is what is the power, right? So what has necessarily happened is that mass media that used to be there, where people used to not be on the streets and watch Ramayana ka episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now that has shifted, right? So earlier people used to have block time periods in their day where they used to be on front of screens. Now they are
Mm.
always in front of screen,
Right.
right? So and this dopamine effect of so much of content without thinking. So earlier as well, you used to see, right, the choice was limited,
Mm-hmm.
right? Channels and everything, right? It creates an illusion that you have a choice, but you do not want the choice. So why Reels or the format works is because it's continuous flow and throw of videos and information at you without you putting any brain behind it, right?
Right.
So, and that phenomenon, I think, has quickly passed that, and certain worrying trends are also that it has started. You start seeing it from toddlers till the that age segment, right?
Right.
So that is another aspect of it.
Yeah, I think, and in the similar pattern, the marketing, how companies do marketing is also going to change, because marketing follows the consumption pattern of the audience.
It
Uh,
is
I,
changing, yeah.
since when you were speaking, I just remembered one YouTube channel called Village Cooking, Village Cooking
Yeah,
channel or something. So they put out some of the very raw and weird content, but still lot of people out there are interested to watch such content. And I know personally one guy who shoots monkey videos, goes out to different places where monkeys are there, shoots the videos and upload it on YouTube and gets millions of views. So I think
yeah.
that's
So Can
yeah,
I
go
can I
on.
also, add on to this what exactly you are saying, right? So I talked about, worldview, right? So in marketing as well. So one of the principles of marketing, which, which we also try to understand customer and everything, right? Uh, uh, so any customer is not just, demographic, right? So let's suppose any customer is not just 25 to 35-year-old male living in Delhi, right? We are much more than that. We have so many personalities with which communities with which we feel a part of, right? So these examples also, which you are also saying, right? So these are communities, right? So and what we are also trying to build into the product is that we try to match the niche and content with who the creator is and try to put it in a community, right? So within this, if you would have recently seen the last week, so a story of creator who was a truck driver who makes that cooking
Yes.
videos, right? So now why did that work? Because it appealed to his community, right? So imagine if you're a truck driver sitting on a lonely highway, right, and cooking your food, and you see, okay, this is also the person who is doing, and he has earned and so many million views and all that. So suddenly you feel a kick of dignity also in your work, right?
Mhm.
That relatability factor also give you a higher sense of gratification as well, right? So that is why it is working at a deeper level as well.
Got it. Another aspect I wanted to discuss was you mentioned you tried at some point you tried to productize your services, and I've seen many companies do that. That there is a social media platform which was initially a social media agency, and they productized to become a social media management platform. And then there are companies like Pepper Content, which used to be a content writing services company, and they become a product right, a product or platform, should I say. So I see the trend of many services companies productizing their services. So can
Hmm.
you explain like what is the thought process behind that to productize? Is it to scale it up at a faster way, and there are
Yeah,
advantages and disadvantages to it. So just explain it to our
I think
audience.
I think the core reason that drives agency entrepreneurs is A, to scale faster the business model, right? So you see, you have to understand how does an typical agency model works, right? So you have to keep your head above the water, right? Every month on month basis, right? You have to be profitable since day one in an agency model, right? Because it's that is not a product based where you're building a mode that you can cash on and later, and economies of scales can kick in. I mean, of course, even in people at business, there is a certain level of economy of scale that needs to kick in an agency model to also scale. But that's very hard to do and a lot of time consuming, right? So a lot of system and process maturity needs to kick in, for that to scale. And that takes time, right? To shorten that curve, productizing with the on the back of tech, to certain, yeah, so that is the impulse, right? The impetus that drives towards finding solution into tech ideas, right? And that is how. And second, also, I think with the coming of digital ad tech and martech and everything becoming connected. So now we also see the rise of connected TV, right? And everything coming onto digital, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it makes sense as well, right? To be with the trend rather than be caught against with it, right? So I think both of these things that drive towards this shift.
Okay. Uh, Next thing I want to ask is about the challenges of building and running a services company. Like every service company is so much dependent on people, and as you might know, that people are unpredictable. They have their own challenges. People are not machines. They'll have their off days, downtime, and everything. There are challenges around leadership. People also want to grow, and so on. Uh, so how do you find these motivated people? How do you train them to pursue your vision? How do you make sure that it runs on a scalable path where you, as you go on to onboard more and more clients, your team is also continuously getting ready to accommodate that kind of a demand. So tell us about it. What are the challenges and what is your experience around that?
Uh, so if I have to be very candid, Ranjan, see, we are working in the creator space, right? And the aspiration effect, right, also kicks in a lot in this economy, right? And also that seeps into the workforce as well, right? So, in that sense, it is very necessary to align individual growth with the, team's growth, right? And then in the sense it becomes very important to just be performance oriented. I think after trying also to doing a lot of things, right? In my own journey as well, right? Because, like you said, the challenges are there, right? Any experienced professional will need to have trust that he can devote his foreseeable future with you, and the company can take care, and those are valid concerns, right? So for that, you also need to be at and grow at certain size, right? That necessarily a first comes in with portraying out your values, right? And then just being true to them, right? No
Mm,
matter what, right? Making them the north star. It's easier said than done. Very hard to do, very hard to achieve, right? But then there's no other way around, right? So those values are the method to the madness. I would say, and work on refining those values, right, and keeping performance as North Stars, right? Because uh, another set of challenges that occur is that because it is evolving so fast, right, a lot of people are not comfortable into changing so quickly, right?
Mhm.
And that is it's not someone to blame, right? It could be someone's lifestyle, or maybe they are not at that point in their life as well, right, where they can go through continuous periods of of learning on this and that, right? We all have a lot of personal skills, right? Things as well going. So maintaining a system in place uh, 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 wherein there are other team members who kick in and then taking help of tech solutions. So I think building very fast on that is a solution, and being very focused on performance marketing, on performance based interpretation, and
Mhm.
then being okay to be bad sometimes for the good of the your performing assets.
And also, I wanted to ask on the aspect of attrition. So, all services companies struggle with the attrition or churning of employees. And when good employees leave, they also take away some good customers with them. And a lot of challenges happen that way. And it, since you mentioned you are in the creator economy, and because of that, the people you have there really passionate about the work they do, and when they leave they just simply create a large uh, blank space in the org. So how do you handle that challenge? How do you handle attrition or churning of employees?
uh, See, we have to understand that in our industry specifically, in we have an annual churning rate of around 33%, right? So
Mhm.
approximately in every 3 years, the entire workforce changes. It's an industry figure numbers that are there.
Right.
Right. So now what happens in that case scenario is that you need to stand in providing continuous results to your clients, right? So how you make your client servicing based on those values principles, right? And then of course working around on retaining the candidates and clients, right?
Mhm.
So it the principles and values that I talked to you about, right? So those have to align with your team's growth and your client's growth. So if you are able to merge and manage that, right? So and we have not been able to do that, and I'm just trying to portray the solution, right? But being in charge a lot of driving the client success personally in the initial phase is very important. And building case studies and portfolios with what you as an organization can do. Because if you keep on striving, if you want to work with more corporate clients, so they understand that the organizational history and memory stays with the organization, right? And that is also very important because marketing is not 3 months, 6 months, this thing, right?
Mm.
Piyush Pandey could not have worked for Fevicol for a longer period of time, right? So, and it's a long-term game, right?
Right.
These cycles of attrition will keep on coming. So having that long-term perspective is very important. That will take 10, 15 years of time to make a world-class service model. So having that is very important. And third thing is valuing everyone who works with you, right? No matter these challenges, uh, being unkind is not the reason for that, I believe, right?
Mhm.
Yes, you can be objective, but oftentimes I see, because this is a very small economy, a lot of talent resource, they do come back whenever you are, when both of you are, at a right place again, right? So I
Mhm.
think that is very key important factor.
Got it. My final question before we wrap up the session. So tell us, what have you learned about entrepreneurship? Like, who is an entrepreneur? What are the attributes of an entrepreneur? And especially in the services setup where you are, a role model for other people out there. How do you manage yourself, on a day in and day out basis? Uh, Tell us about it.
Uh, I think first of all, maintaining a certain bit of distance between your role and your personal ego helps a lot into becoming a better entrepreneur because uh, uh, and second thing is the realization that has happened is the personality traits and values with which you start the company in your initial career phase are not the ones that are required when you have to sustain and grow a company, right?
Mm,
So, how quickly entrepreneurs are able to have that or develop the self-awareness to recognize about themselves and do the necessary changes. So, I think that is a continuous process that keeps on happening, right? Uh, 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 so that is the and third is uh, having clear set definite goals of your organizations, right? In terms of numbers, in terms of clients, right? Because the organization as a unit as a whole, everyone, you can't make forcibly everyone's individual goals aligned to your goals. But
mm,
if you haven't put out the goals, then no one is aligning to anything, right? If
right.
it is something is out there, at least people who see themselves with the vision will stick with it. So that is third very important thing is to have crystal clear goals.
Perfect. So I think on this note, we will wrap up the session. Thanks for joining us, Manjul. It was a pleasure to have you on our platform and many interesting lessons we have learned.
Thank you
Thanks
so much,
again.
Amit. Thank you so much.